Hello and welcome to this special episode of Bank of Baroda presents Empowering the Ecosystem, partnered by ET. Now, this is a very special series where I'm talking to important stakeholders from the Indian banking system and discussing important and pertinent topics with them. Today we're going to be talking about the digital banking ecosystem. But first up, allow me to introduce my experts on the panel. First up, we have Mr. Murali Ramaswami. He's the Executive Director, Bank of Baroda. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We have Ms. Lakshmi Parekh, the Senior Vice President, Intellect Design Arena. Thank you, ma'am, for coming. And finally, Mr. Kunal Pandey, he's a partner KPMG in India. Thank you, Mr. Pandey, for coming on board. Mr. Murali, first question to you. About a year ago, the smaller banks, which is Dena Bank and Vijaya Bank, amalgamated with and merged into Bank of Baroda. While we talk about the larger ecosystem of branches, of the loan book, etc., but an important part is the IT framework, because all digital banking that happens is based on that IT framework. How has that coming together, merging the IT framework of these three banks? Can you take me through that process?
Thank you, Sumit. Yes, this is the first time where Vijaya and Dena, who are all Finacle 7, has merged with Bank of Baroda, who are Finacle 10. This is though they are both in Finacle, but this is a totally different version of Finacle 7 and Finacle 10. Right. And also, even in Finacle 7, the customization is different. Maybe Dena is having different customization, Vijaya is different. So, it's technically a very complex job. I will like to develop on it a little bit, and I also like to what all the things we did. So, you see that the technical integration goes through smoothly.
Yes.
Let me tell you, we have first to see that small customers are not put into problem. What we did is interoperability. We gave us 6 basic services, banking services. This is cash withdrawal up to 50,000, cash deposit up to fund transfer, balance inquiry, and mini statement, and it's signatures checking. We did this so that any customer of Vijaya Bank can walk into Dena Bank or Bank of Baroda and get any of these activities done. This is done on day 1. That is April 1st we got this was done. Right. So that the normal customers can avail the benefit. Second thing, we saw that all the data centers are integrated, and and the uniform MIS is able to get a workaround we did. That is the second thing we did. And third thing, we had a technical conference for all the stakeholders. So we formed a 8-member committee, and each of the items we delivered, each of the technical specifics in each of the department.
So it's quite it looks simple to the person who might be a customer, but it's quite a heavy duty integration there. Ma'am, I want to bring you in on this point also, because like how sir has spoken about all the processes that happen back end, that happens in all banks, in the full banking system. And for a normal consumer who might be sitting, we just feel that why am I not got the best service? What's gone wrong in the server? How do you ensure that, how in your experience are you seeing the banks ensure that the backends stay up to date, and the technology which keeps, let's be honest, technology is always upgrading, updating. How do you ensure that you stay state of the art?
Sure. First, let's understand what's digitization. We all use the word so commonly, but what does it really mean? Right. It really means immediacy. It means instant gratification.
Yeah.
I want something to be fulfilled instantly, right? So digitization was a shift in the entire ecosystem, not just the banking. So banking needed to be part of the shift.
Yes.
Now, how did banks adopt this changing technology? Earlier, we had the simple banking artifact, which is a bank account, which is a value store for a bank. They only had the bank account. When internet came in 1990s, they ported the bank account into the internet. And they said, yes, now we have technologically upgraded. Then came the mobile. They took the same artifact and they put it on a smaller screen factor. And they said, now we are internet enabled, we are mobile enabled, right? Voice recognition has come in. So you've just replaced a branch call center person with the voice recognition using Alexa. So basically, banking has adopted technology, okay? And it believes that it has been technologically enabled by just keeping strides with it. Take a step back and say, how do I want to make banking a part of the digitization? So digitization platform is a larger context. Let me take voice recognition that Capital One just did. What did they do? They continued with their credit card and they just put it on Alexa, right? What if I say voice recognition is the way to make a money transfer? I don't need a card. Okay, so that is a kind of a first principles design thinking. I do not just adopt technology, I move with technology.
Right.
Right? I see how I can do banking with the advent of technology. Face recognition, biometrics, robotic process automation. So I inculcate banking into technology and not the other way around.
Right. Mr. Pandey, I want to bring you in at this point. For this digital banking to go ahead, to keep progressing, there are some challenges, there are hurdles on the way, and there are some opportunities. Just if you could shed some light on that.
When we look at digital banking, or for that matter banking, I think the center of all this is the customer, because it's the customer's needs or aspirations is what a bank is trying to fulfill. And if you really look at it from that perspective, what is the customer looking for? Customer is looking for a product which he or she can understand clearly. So it's very simple. It is easily communicable to them in their context, which could be in their language, which could be about the services or product which the customer is buying, because customer doesn't come to the bank only for withdrawing money.
Yes.
Of course, he comes to the bank for withdrawing money, but for a purpose, which is something which he or she wants to buy. So something which is aligned to that. So the opportunities by digital, if you really look at it, digital is a great leveler, right? It can cut down boundaries, it can cut down distances. So how can those products and services be brought to the customer? As an example would be, in some sense, that today many e-commerce players, they are offering products to customers where bank is there, right, in the, as part of that process, and enables that transaction to happen seamlessly. Customer in some sense doesn't even really understand beyond a click that there is a bank there.
Right.
So bank in that sense, in a digital ecosystem, I would say should be like an oxygen which is there to fulfill all the needs whenever it is needed, but it is not visible in the sense it is creating any friction. And one of the friction there would be about customers, if I could say, trust. And trust has two angles in my mind. One is the customer getting the service clearly, consistently, in the same way every time. So if a transaction breaks, then customer should be assured that the transaction is going to happen, or he is going to get his money back, or whichever way, so that it's like customer has to be treated with a kid glove. He has to be clearly made comfortable. The second part is about the security. There is a lot of security issues which keep coming in. How do we really address that?
As a bank, how are you helping your customers be at ease that A, their money is secured, B, also that you're kind of teaching them, helping spread digital financial literacy about how to deal in digital banking?
Now the digital has made the life easier for the customers. You can sit in the house, see the money transfer. Suppose you want to send it, mobile banking will do. You can go to ATM, take the cash. So it became not bank specific. Its requirement is met by digital anytime. So that is the great advancement which digital has provided to the common man. Coming to what are the steps taken by the bank? We are adopting digital village. And every zonal officers of us and regional officer have got digital champion. Their job is to go to each branch, promote the digital initiatives of the bank. Coming to security, we have got a lot of security wherein we see that two things. One is security tools which prevent the system from doing any false. This other thing is education. Yes. Education, we always educate our customers, our banks, branches, everywhere we tell we hold camps, we hold conference, we give pamphlets, we give messages wherein what are the things a customer should not do. Then we have to have the tools. What are the tools we are having? Those tools we have to see that the system also behaves properly, and see that other area which we have to feel, in my opinion, is connectivity. See, the customer wherever he goes, he has to see that he gets the connectivity properly so that his transactions are put through. These are the three things. One is education, one is having an internal tool properly. Third thing is to connectivity, ensure the connectivity is perfect. When connectivity is perfect and the infrastructure is perfect, that will be a great achievement, I think.
Right. When organizations like this, who have so many branches, so many offices, such a large ecosystem, to ensure all aspects are secure, how, in your experience, is that done? Your thoughts on that?
We all say that we need to have better security systems. But let's look at a consumer. there is 75% of the consumers who've never changed their passwords for the last 5 years.
1, 2, 3, 4. It'll be 1, 2,
Yes.
3, 4 or 1, 1, 1, 1.
Exactly. Near 50% of consumers haven't changed it for the last 1 year. Another 60% have duplicate passwords or common passwords, like
Right.
as you just mentioned, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, who's to blame? You could educate them, you could impart literacy, but unless you have them participating in your security systems, it's not going to work. So change passwords, clear cache if you're in a public network. You know, these are things that the banks repetitively announce.
Yes.
But it is the consumers, either it is the literacy. I mean, I wouldn't even say the literacy. I think even people at my level didn't know that I could block an account if I'm doing an international travel. So this is a facility that was easily available on the mobile on a single click. So this literacy to control and contain cyber crimes from a consumer perspective is equally important as it is from a bank's perspective. Now, bank has gone into encryption.
Yes.
It is using all of that, but as you rightly said, it is as breakable or as quickly breakable as it has been introduced. So the incumbency of any security system is no more than a year.
Right.
So quantum computing is what is the new trend today, is the new age. But every bank cannot invest in quantum computers themselves. They will have to go on the public cloud.
Mr. Pandey, I want to bring you in on the topic of fintechs. So, fintech is a booming space, especially in India. We're seeing great startups doing some amazing work in the space. Your thoughts on that space first. I want to get you in, and then I'll bring in Mr. Murali from the banker's perspective. But your thoughts on how the fintech space, how you're seeing it develop, how you're seeing maybe some collaborations, some partnerships happening.
The way I see fintech is, it's a partner which one has to look at. It's like in an economy, and especially digital economy, everything cannot be done by an organization alone. Partnering with fintech is the way in which organizations are looking at, and in that context, we do see huge amount of fintech play in the banking, right from elements of customer onboarding. How do you make it completely seamless? And in that, one thing which we are seeing is that there is an ecosystem which has got developed. So when we look at digitization in India, so we have Aadhaar, which can allow seamless digital verification.
Yes.
A lot of government documents are available digitally, and there are lots of these fintechs which are now playing in this space, wherein the entire end-to-end onboarding of customer can be digitalized. There are banks which are partnering in this ecosystem to give that service offering to the customers. Fintechs are also playing role in terms of risk management, where we see that products using AI ML and using techniques in terms of bringing the entire data ecosystem together, because today when I use my mobile, that also can give an indication of what's my behavior, what's my buying habits, and how regular I am in those. So it is bringing that. Also, fintechs are playing a huge role in cybersecurity. So how to bring in this data ecosystem to come together. So I think in this area, fintechs are clearly a partner to the bank.
Mr. Murali, just wanted to get in the banker's perspective of this.
See, for example, our Bank of Baroda, we have got a separate fintech department, and also we have got a collaboration with IIT. I think about a month back we had a collaboration with IIT Mumbai, wherein we are sponsoring some people, and there are some professors from IIT who will be guiding for developing various fintech new products. So that we have identified certain niche areas where fintech can play a role. Coming to your main question, how the bankers are doing now. For example, you take earlier we used to give, suppose you want a home loan, you go to the branch, you give the application, somebody will see the paper, their raise queries, then again come to you, then again they will come to you. It has become, it takes a TAT used to be 2 months, 3 months. Now we are able to give within 3 days the home loan. What you have to do, we have got an engine, they have to just, we have got a system wherein they have to key in the certain items. It is seamlessly, it goes to the last, even documentation is done by the system. Right. It's again a fintech initiative. Similarly, what you have done in our bank, we have taken of our existing customers, we have got a database. From there we have culled out using certain machine learning and software, and we have identified who are the people whom we can give prepaid credit. So having that, we have developed this one. We will immediately give the prepaid credit to them. We will tell them, based on this, you are eligible for this credit. If they click it, they can just documentation, account will be credited without coming to the bank. Our idea is through prong. One is change. Change is the order of the day. Today I do something, tomorrow it becomes a different thing. So we are having collaboration with IIT Mumbai to see all the security issues, new areas we develop. Similarly, how we can make the life simple for the customers, we also see how the turnaround time can be, how we can open without the customer coming to the bank, how can he carry the banking products. These are the things which we have done. So the technology has got a very important to play, and Bank of Baroda has embarked on a technology mode. So coming to amalgamation also, I want to tell you the recent development now. Our entire ATM banking, which was Dena Bank had a different switch, Vijaya Bank had different switch. Now all have been amalgamated. All the 13,500 ATMs and recyclers are coming to Bank of Baroda. That has been done in a very record space. Maybe within a month we have completed everything. Similarly, debit card has been uncoded from Vijaya and Dena Bank. The debit card has come to us. Credit card has come to us. Snatch has come to name the digital product we have brought into Bank of Baroda.
So we're just about out of time, but one last question. I'm going to come to all the three panelists, the same question. I'll start with you, Mr. Pandey. There's a word called phygital that we hear now very often, physical and digital. In the banking space, you've got branches and you've got digital banking. Do you see as the country moving more and more towards digital, are we seeing that branches will go out soon? What's your opinion on that? It'll be the same question to all the other panelists. So you first, Mr. Pandey.
Yeah, okay. So in my mind, as a human, it's always very comforting to have another human in front.
Yeah.
And there will be always needs which will evolve where that interaction will remain. So in that sense, I do believe a phygital ecosystem will remain. Having said that, the way and the needs for that will change dramatically. So today, if we look at, we don't per se see long queues outside banks, filling utility services bills, because most of them are moving into digital space. So that kind of interaction has reduced. For a lot of simple transactions, again, people are starting using digital channels, so that has been reduced. But there are still a number of things for which that interaction will remain. So I think it's going to coexist. I do believe there will be a shift towards digital, because some of the large scale products and requirements will move to a digital space or electronic space. When the branches or some touch points, let me not use the word branches, some touch points with the human touch would remain to service the customer needs.
Okay. Ms. Parekh, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think I kind of share his views. Almost 65% of the crowd in the US like a physical face-to-face conversation to open bank accounts, even today. A leading bank in Australia, for example, has all the kiosk machines, but they have their teller counters, which are far more busy than the kiosk machines in front of them. So that face-to-face connect remains, but I would want to think forward, because I would want to think like a fintech and say phygital is only a way to go digital.
Right.
All right. So how quickly we make digital, we can eliminate phygital. In the Indian context, if you see, the backbone of our economy are the small and medium enterprises who have a very low literacy level. Now, there are a lot of applications in the digital world, like WhatsApp, or even Insta for that matter, or smartphones. They've all adopted to it without, talking about the so-called literacy. You see them using, WhatsApp in a very common fashion, right? So why does it, when it comes to banking applications, why do we talk about the literacy? Why are we not able to give them a vernacular self-service option? How many banks really do that, right? So if you give them the vernacular self-service option, they would love to move digital, right? Today only 10% of the Indian population speak English.
Yes.
But when we look at the mobile applications, how many of them are multilingual, right? So there are miles to go for us ahead on how we could really move them to digital. Until then, phygital is here to stay.
Yes, to stay. Fantastic. Mr. Murali, sir, your final word.
I feel I also tend to agree with the other panelists. There is no substitute for branch working. Digital only will continue, because digital is only enabler which has made the customer service more convenient. I told you in the beginning only. Earlier, if suppose a man has to withdraw cash, maybe on a Saturday, he has to, those days Saturday, he has to run before 2 o'clock to the branch. Now he can sit on Sunday convenient. So this digital has made the life simpler, but as it replace bank branch, no. Bank branch will continue, because the brick and mortar branch is the order of the day. Because as a psych, even we feel comfortable somebody is before us. You have got somebody whom we can talk about banking. Bank is only not only withdrawal of deposit or taking loan. It goes beyond this. Lot of things are there. Maybe you have to take loan. You have to discuss your MSME proposal with him. You have to discuss a home loan proposal with him. You have to discuss some export advice with you. Your wealth management with them. This banking, it's not only a traditional banking of those. So customer, and for example now with the Mudra loans, we have to handle them also. Mudra loans, that is doing very well. Mudra loan. Similarly, we have to see what's the purpose of banking. Banking is not to take to the top echelons. We have to take to the rural people, the real people, say farmers. We have to see the timely disposal of loans is given them. They get timely, I told you about timely products are delivered, and farmers will be more convenient. You can call them to the, because if you ask them to do digital, they'll be spending, will they have time for that? They have to go morning for their sowing, they have to do, they have got other work to do. And when they are in the branch, somebody, our agriculture officer can guide them what sort of seeds you can do, what sort of manure will do. So I think digital cannot be a replacement. It only enabler to see that the services delivered are more effective, and digital are there to stay, and it will be staying. That is my opinion.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Murali. Thank you, Ms. Parekh, and thank you, Mr. Pandey, for joining me on this. Thank you so much for watching Bank of Baroda presents Empowering the Ecosystem, partnered by ET Now. It was a thought-provoking, insightful discussion on digital banking, and I hope you're taking back some very important points. Thank you so much for watching.